I said, how you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner. And today I have a very special guest with me. Y'all know she's one of the greatest actors, impressionist. She's a producer. She's been in the TV and film industry, expanding over 40 decades. You know what I'm saying? That's right. She been doing her thing. A lot of people be falling off, but she was like, hey, she was still been doing her thing. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the platform the wonderful, amazing, talented Anne Marie Johnson. Welcome to the platform.
Well, what a lovely introduction.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I see, are you wearing a San Diego Padres hat on?
Yes, I am. Yes,
You do realize that this is opening day, and you do realize that you're talking to a second generation Los Angelino. So how is it that you're not wearing a Dodger hat?
Listen, let me tell you something. Look,
We're not starting off on a good foot.
I plead the fifth due to the fact that it may incriminate me at a later date. I want to let my audience get to for the people who don't know, because like I said, I watched you growing up. So for the people who don't know,
for the youngins,
the millennials,
and younger.
Yes, could you let the people know, where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing as a child?
I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, second generation Angelino. Had a marvelous upbringing. Mother was a school teacher, father was a police officer, and just kind of a boring yet wonderful upbringing by two very proud and loud and dedicated public servants who were very clear on who we were as African Americans and what the real world was all about. So they made sure that I was never surprised by anything. So I had a terrific upbringing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what got you into acting?
I think it was a gift from God. But also I was in kindergarten, I was too tall and skinny to do anything else. So it was kind of like, it was perfect for me. And I know many won't believe this, but I was extremely quiet as a child, so quiet that my parents were concerned. But then I just, in the first grade, I just started kind of blossoming into knowing what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be. And I was so lucky that my parents supported me all the way, unconditionally. So I would have to say I was a quiet, goofy child, and the arts really spoke to me. We were all required to learn how to play a classical instrument. We were all required to take art and respect the arts along with a regular curriculum. And I just happened to stick to it.
Nice. So I want to talk about one show that I love that you played in, What's Happening Now, or you played Nadine. That's the topic. How did you get that role, and how was the experience being on set?
Oh man, I had just, what did I do prior? I was working on Hill Street Blues, actually, at the time. I had a recurring role on Hill Street Blues. And my agents said, hey, listen, they are bringing back What's Happening. And I was going, what's happening? Oh my God, they were bringing back What's Happening. And they said, there's an audition for the character of Nadine, who would be Raj's wife. And I went, interesting. So, like any young actor with an audition like that, you jump on it. So I and hundreds of other women auditioned for the role, and I was fortunate enough to be cast. And even more fortunate, where we shot the show was literally a mile away from my house.
Wow, wow, that's crazy. I don't need a ride. I'm just gonna walk down the
I was
street.
just going to walk to work, and it all just worked out. And it was the first season was really tough because there was a lot of hazing going on because I was the odd person out, right? So Shirley Hempel was really hard on me. I mean, mercilessly. I would cry. I'd go to my car and just cry. She was really hard on me. But it turned out that her toughness really was quite a good education. I learned a lot about business from Shirley.
Okay.
So I'll always appreciate that. And Ernie and I got along so well. Our chemistry was great. He is without question the funniest man I've ever worked with. And Rerun and Dwayne, and it was just really a dream come true that to be my second series regular opportunity and it being a sitcom, it was a dream come true.
Nice. So one of your breakout roles, that a lot of people know you from, also you play Thea Tibbs, and then in the heat of the night, Virgil Tibbs' wife. So how did that come about, and what was that experience like?
That was career making. That role made my career, set my career on the trajectory that was very beneficial. Another audition. I had just finished What's Happening Now. Knew What's Happening Now was not going to go for a fourth season. Had finished Hollywood Shuffle. And then went to Europe to do a film in Europe. I get back from Europe and they say, hey, there's an audition for you. And I thought it was going to be for a comedy. But then they said, it's the television version of In the Heat of the Night. And I went, what? And they want to see me. So I auditioned against 300 women.
Wow.
And I didn't think I was going to get the job because during my first audition, the casting director ordered dinner for herself on the phone while I was auditioning.
Go ahead and do your thing.
It was like, yeah, right. I said, well, this isn't going well. But then they called me in to meet with them, and they hadn't cast Howard Rollins yet. So they called me in to meet Carol O'Connor. They call a chemistry read. So I had to have a chemistry read with Carol. And let me tell you who was in the running for the role of Virgil Tibbs. Now, Howard was Carol's first choice, and Carol was the boss of the show. But usually, they want to see multiple people.
Yeah.
And the network had other choices. And one of their choices was O.J. Simpson.
Wow.
And maybe life would have been different had he been cast. but obviously Howard Rollins. There was no other Virgil Tibbs besides Sidney Poitier. It had to be Howard Rollins. Yes. So that was oh my God, what to have that role. Actors, I'm in a very tiny category of African American actors who've been in pivotal, long-lasting, iconic series. And In the Heat of the Night, In Living Color and In the Heat of the Night, you've got two furthest from the spectrum. You've got goofy, out of this world sketch comedy, and you've got an award-winning, very serious
drama.
Drama, and In the Heat of the Night truly set my career. I'm always very, very grateful for In the Heat of the Night.
Okay. So I know you, like you said, after that, how was it being on one of the most iconic comedy sketches in Living Color,
So here's the funny thing. So it's my 6th season of In the Heat of the Night. But I could tell things were changing because Howard was no longer on the show. He was leaving the show. And I said, well, if Howard goes, what's going to happen? Althea's not going to get a divorce and, be with Carl Lumley or with Carl Weathers, right? Who then they brought in Carl Weathers, and it just seemed unseemly that Althea would just, all of a sudden be sleeping with another black man. So I knew that they were going to let my character go. So during one of my hiatuses, I did a movie with Tommy Davidson, and it was called Strictly Business. And it was with Halle Berry and Tommy Davidson and myself and Kim Coles. And it was great. We had a lot of fun. And so God works, man, because when I knew that it didn't look good for me on In the Heat of the Night, that they may have been sending Althea away, I got a phone call from Tommy, and Tommy said, hey, listen, are you still working on that, they call me Mr. Tibbs thing? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to last. He goes, hey, you want to have fun with us over at In Living Color? And I said, oh my God, are you kidding? And he said, yeah, come on over. So it was a summer break. I went. We had a lovely conversation. I had known Keenan because we did I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka, right? So we had a lovely conversation, and poof, I was on In Living Color. That's how that worked. It was fabulous. But I did not enjoy working on In Living Color. It was
Why not?
Yeah, it was not a pleasant place.
Why not?
Well, there was the castmates, most of the castmates were fantastic. I loved Jim Carrey, and I knew David Alan Grier for quite a while, and that was fine. But there was a lot of sexism, and you'll it's a familiar story. Female comics on Saturday Night Live had the same problems. It was really in Living Color was really more catered to the men, and so we, the female castmates, had to fight, to literally get a scene done, and that was just not my vibe. Although I loved the work, and I think our work was great, and I was very fortunate to be part of In Living Color. It was not a team. And for me, being on a sitcom is more of a team.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I was very proud of my work on In Living Color, but it was not my vibe.
I got you. I
can
understand it. So I want to talk about one of the films you just mentioned, which is one of my favorite. I'm Going to Get You, Sucka.
Yeah.
Where you played Cherry, taking off your eyes, the breast, the butt, the leg. How did you get there? And was that scene fun to play?
Well, it's really interesting how I got there. Like I said, I'd known Keenan, since even before Hollywood Shuffle, because way, many years ago, I was dating a stand-up comic. And so that community was very tight, especially amongst African Americans. So I knew Keenan, I knew Robert, I knew those guys. So I don't remember what. I think I was still working on In the Heat of the Night. Yeah, I was still working on In the Heat of the Night. And I got a phone call from Keenan, and he said, "Listen, I'm doing this film, and I want to send you the script. And there are a couple of roles that I think would be, really good for you. So first read the script and let me know what you think." And I was honored. I was like, "Oh, Keenan, this is fabulous." We had done, we knew each other from Hollywood Shuffle. And I was just saying, I'm being invited back to the fun crowd. So I read the script, and there was a role, and I went, "Oh my God, the role of the girlfriend. I so want that role. I want the role of to be the girlfriend, the main girlfriend." And so I called Keenan and I said, "I'm in, let's do this. And I want the role of the girlfriend." He went, "Oh, well, that's not exactly the role. We want you to play. We want you to play Cherry." I said, "Who the hell is Cherry?" He said, "Cherry."
He's like, "Hold on,
I'm looking, going, "I don't remember Cherry." He said, "The prostitute."
He's like, "Oh."
I fought my whole career not to play a prostitute. I don't want to fall into the stereotype. I got on my Angela Davis hi-hat,
Yeah.
He said, no. Come on now. Think about it. Think about the theme of the movie. And so I said, I was really upset. I mean, I was really upset. And so I said, all right, because I still wanted to work with Keenan because I love that family. And I said, okay. So then the magic happened. And he sent me to get contact lenses and fitted for wigs. And I'm thinking, this is going to be, and I was going to work with Bernie Casey. And I mean, okay, so the whole attitude changed in me.
He's like, all right, I think I can do it.
I said, I think I can do that. So then we get the whole cherry together, right? And the wardrobe, it was just beyond any of my expectations. Yeah. So he said, listen, there's going to be a scene with you and Bernie Casey and me and blah, 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 and Jim Brown. And you're going to be in the bar and you're going to be, hitting on Keenan's character. He said, can you do something goofy and sexy, but goofy sexy, like Lucille Ball, goofy sexy? And I said, oh yeah, sure. So we're shooting, and I said to myself, oh, I know what I'll do. So I did the tongue thing.
Yeah.
And from that point on, we just ran with it. And it really has turned into a benchmark of my comedic career. Some people call it the I don't birth no babies moment, where everyone remembers Butterfly saying, I don't birth no babies. Yes. Don't make me hop after you. So I am forever grateful to Keenan for not listening to my ego and really having faith in my comedic skills, because a week does not go by that someone doesn't remind me of I'm going to get you, Sucka. And it's a movie that still is quite relevant. Very, very happy that I listened to him. He was right.
Yeah, he was right. I love it.
Keenan was right. As always, he was right.
So let me ask you about this. I saw in 2008, you became the first African-American vice president of the Screen Actors Guild. Mm-hmm. How did that make you feel?
Happy and sad, because, 2008 and there's still a first Black anything is a sad testimony.
Facts.
Considering SAG was incorporated, the Screen Actors Guild was incorporated in 1933. So
that's crazy.
It was happy and sad, but I was very proud to take on that to be elected and to take on that responsibility. And so I served 4 terms as first VP. I served under 4 different presidents. Actually 3, because one. But I enjoyed it. I've spent many, many years as a board member at the Screen Actors Guild and Screen Actors Guild and AFTRA. And I take it very seriously, because more now, I was actually, before I became first VP, I was part of the negotiating committees that forced our employers to recognize what we call DEI now. Yes, what we called affirmative action, diversity affirmative action back 30 years ago. I was one of the first to fight for my union to make sure that stunt performers of color were recognized, that stand-ins were of the same gender, ethnicity, and or race as the actor that they were standing in for. I mean, all that was people took advantage and didn't even think about. There were times where I was working on a show and I was assigned to stand in. And for your listeners and for your audience, a stand-in is the actor who stands in for the speaking actor while they're rehearsing, or, you know, a scene change, or getting hair and makeup done. You have a stand-in so the director of photography can still light the scene and get ready. And sometimes they would just give me a white guy. And I would say, well, do you give Julia Roberts a black guy to stand in for her? So there were many shows that I refused to go. I would refuse to leave my trailer until they found me a woman of color. And I thought, this is ridiculous. Why do I have to fight this? Yeah. This is ridiculous. So I was considered a troublemaker. Because they said, why is everything about race? And I said, because you make it about race.
You make it about race.
That damn door. I didn't. So it was really important that I be part of the generation of performers who fought for DEI in our contracts. And so I also spearheaded the first LGBTQ transgender committee within the Screen Actors Guild. Because it is our job to reflect the American scene. That's our job. And it is not my job to promulgate a false narrative. That is not my job. So I've been really quite fortunate to be part of the evolution of change with regard to equal pay, equal treatment, and opportunities for the 4 protected groups. And I'm really proud of that.
Okay, yeah. Even to stick with that, I wanted to talk about something that you was involved in the Mankind Project. Using the arts to fight against racism and bigotry. So, can you talk about that?
Yeah, that's another my nonprofit partner. His name is Richard Steller, and he had an idea, and that idea flourished, and it culminated in our nonprofit called the Mankind Initiative. And what we focus on is feeding the hungry. And our other prong of concentration is fighting racism, discrimination, and stereotyping. So we do it through the spoken word, arts, music, advocacy. We use different tools to enlighten people on the disparities that we deal with. And because I'm a cop's kid, I have a different relationship with the LAPD and other law enforcement agencies. So during the pandemic, I produced and I created, produced, and wrote an 8-part series called Tears, the event against racism and stereotyping, which you can see on our website. And what I concentrated on is the community and community policing. And we dealt with the issues that a lot of people didn't want to talk about. And I had full participation with the LAPD and at those who were against the LAPD and pro-LA. It was just really a fantastic series that anyone can watch. If you go to the mankindinitiative.org, you can see the whole series.
All right, I'm definitely got to check that out. I definitely got to check it out. So let me ask you this, because you've been in the industry a long time. So on your journey, what would you say has been your greatest challenge?
The greatest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I am Black first, that's been the greatest challenge. Making sure that the roles that I auditioned for and that I have the honor to be, given, that the roles, unless I'm portraying a historical character, that I don't provide any additional embarrassment for the African-American community.
Yeah.
There are enough actors to do that. So I'm not into buffoonery.
Yeah.
Hollywood Shuffle and I'm Going to Get You Sucka and the Hollywood Shuffle players, our content was satirical to make a point about disparities, right? But there are other artists and other content that is more of an embarrassment, in my opinion, than anything else. And so I swore to myself and to my parents that I would never embarrass them or my community with my work. And that has been challenging because although things are getting much better compared to when I started as an actor, I've missed out on financial freedom because I chose to keep on that level of integrity. So I've missed out on financial freedom, but my soul and my relationship with God and my morals are intact.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Keep on doing it. Hey, get respect to me. Let me ask you this though, on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
As an actor?
Mm-hmm.
A movie that I'm promoting now, I think, is probably the best work I've ever done, and it's a movie called The Addiction of Hope. We're in the film festivals right now, and will soon be distributed to the public. But it's a film that was written and directed by my husband. It's Erica Alexander and Clancy Brown. It's an excellent cast, and it's about ageism in the business. And even though it's about ageism of a woman of color in a particular industry, it's a movie that speaks to everyone who's been marginalized. And it's a type of role I've never done before. So it was really quite challenging, but the end product is the best work I've ever done.
I love that. I can't wait.
The movie is called The Addiction of Hope, and it probably will be seen soon by the public.
I can't wait to see it. It sounds powerful. So let me ask you this. You've been in this industry for a lot of years. What advice would you give to, someone trying to break into, I guess, the film industry or trying to do that?
Well, my opinion has changed in the decades decades ago. I was really quick to say, "Oh my God, it's a great business." Now, it's become quite depressing, as with many jobs. We are not fairly compensated for our work. You may work more, but you get paid less. I get paid less now than I did 40 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy.
And not due to my age, it's just due to salary compression. When you have 6 entities owning and controlling all that you see on the screen, the small screen and the big screen, there really is no room for competition. There is no room for freedom to say, well, I can. In the old days, there was ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox.
Yeah.
And they would compete for you. And which would mean if they really wanted you, they would offer you more.
Yeah.
Those days are gone, because they figured it out. They figured it out that, they don't need to pay you anything. They'll just steal your work and stream it. And the consumer has absolutely no problem stealing and copying and downloading. And there really aren't. And now with AI, you don't even need me. You just need to steal my image. So I think I would never want to discourage anyone from wanting to be an actor, but as we said in Hollywood Shuffle, there's always a job at the post office because you cannot financially survive being an actor. At any given time, 95 to 97% of our union is unemployed. So it's a very small group of actors who qualify. Only 18.7%. We have 160,000 members of our union. And at any given time, only 18 to 20% even qualify for health insurance.
That's crazy.
And at any given time, like I said, the overwhelming majority of us are unemployed. one gig, then you got to wait. Sometimes you can book a wonderful job and you work 3 days and you're unemployed for the following 70 days.
That's crazy.
Right? So you have to have the stomach and the wherewithal and the ability to be flexible to be in this business. It's tough. It's really tough. So I don't promote it any longer. I'll support you if you really want to do it, but I'll tell you the truth.
I like that. Keep it real. Keep it real. You know, I write and direct films too. You know, I didn't want.
Oh, so you know.
Yes, I don't want some film festival awards, but I know what you're talking about.
No. So anyway, it's our business. It's always been this way.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would encourage people to be smart if they want to get into this industry, and always have plan B, C, and D, because 99% of the time plan A ain't going to work.
Facts. Yeah. Hey, look, that's the realest advice I gonna ever get. For real. And it came from Amber.
I don't even think I would have Snoop Dogg in a project now, since he, was buddy with Trump. I'm like, no.
Snoop let me down with that one.
Snoop let me down.
I was like, who raised you, Snoop? Who raised you?
What happened?
That hurt my soul. That hurt my soul, Miss Amber.
It hurt me too. Too much weed.
Yes.
Too much weed.
Well, let me ask you this. So, is there anything else coming up that you want to promote that you're doing?
Right now, I'm all about promoting The Addiction of Hope. That is, and if anyone wants to see a trailer of the film, you can just visit the website, The Addiction of Hope Film. Gosh, is it .com or .org? Oh, The Addiction.
Yeah, I know it's one of them.
It's one of those. Yeah. And you can see the trailer, and really quite proud of the film. Really, really proud. So that's really all I'm concentrating on right now.
Okay. Listen, I can't let you go either without giving my mom a shout out. She'll get on my head. So can you give Jeanette Thomas a shout out?
Jeanette, Miss Jeanette Thomas. How are you doing, Jeanette? And I'm giving you a shout out. And please continue to watch, especially in the heat of the night, because I still get 2 cents, a residual check, 2 cents. And those 2 cents add up, because sometimes I'll get a check as big as $72 for a year's worth of viewing. So keep watching, because I need your help, because I too have bills to pay.
They just do the actor so wrong.
Yeah.
That's the crazy. All that time, $72.
$72 for sometimes my residual. I literally get residual checks that say -5 cents, or I owe them. So
that is crazy.
That is real.
That is crazy. Well, Miss Avery, let the people know where they can find you. And if they
now this is interesting. I'm now on Blue Sky, but I really don't participate. I hate social media. I hate it. I think it's why we're in the mess we're in today. Right. I think it's the decline of the American consciousness. I see nothing good about social media, but I am on Blue Sky. AMJ loves LA. And that's where you can find me on Blue Sky. But I hate it.
She on Blue Sky. You can find her there, but you can't find her there.
Yeah, you kidda. I have no Instagram. I have no Facebook, really. I think maybe there's a Facebook fan. I don't know. Someone did it for me.
Like I got none of it.
My footprint on social media is very, very hard to find.
Okay, so my last question that I love to ask all my guests.
Yeah.
When it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Anne Marie Johnson?
That I was a great daughter and wife and a lover of Jesus.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Listen, I'm manifesting this. We gonna work together one day.
Hey, ask me. Send me a script. I'm available.
We gonna work. Don't worry. Look, we gonna work. Trust me, I got you. Manifestation.
I look forward to it.
But I appreciate you, and I'm definitely going to reach out, let you know as soon as I write this article and drop this interview in the paper. And I'm just honored, and thank you for even, giving me this time to do this.
Of course, I enjoyed it.
Okay, you have a rest of a good day.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.